Felipe Drugovich is the only driver in the modern era of Formula 2 to win both the sprint and feature race in one weekend, putting him at the top of the championship standings thus far. However, he has zero links to any Formula 1 teams and is seemingly being ignored by all of them. Today, we're finding out why. F2 is the final step on the motorsport ladder before Formula 1, and is a place for the best young talent and Roy Nassani to prove themselves to all the big boy teams watching on from the sidelines in hopes of getting a shot in the big leagues. Over the years, we've seen talents such as George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri come in and excel in the series and step right into F1 seats for the following year, or at the very least they get themselves into a reserve driver role. Moment of silence for our boy Oscar.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Pretty much all the top drivers in the sport have some links to Formula 1 and are often a part of junior teams for either Sauber, Mercedes, Ferrari, Williams, you get the gist. So why is it that our current Formula 2 points leader does not? Why are the F1 teams ignoring Felipe Drugovich? Now, if you're just a casual F1 fan who rarely, if ever, watches Formula 2, you may be sat thinking,
who the fuck is that guy?
Which is a fair question. The Brazilian driver is now in his third season of Formula 2, and up to this point, he hasn't really blown anyone away. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, lads. Let's take it back, start from the beginning, and go through his career up to this point so we can learn a little bit more about our Brazilian friend and why F1 teams might not want to look at him.
Okay, let's go.
Born in May 2000 in Maragna, Brazil, Felipe began karting in the same year that another Brazilian called Felipe lost the title in Formula 1, 2008, competing in just Brazil for a couple of years before then heading internationally in the early 2010s, where he'd have some decent results and take home a few titles. And thus, the next logical step is to whack him in a race car. So in 2016, he entered the German F4 and MRF Challenge Series, where he did not bad, coming 12th and 4th respectively with a couple of wins and podiums under his belt. In 2017, man said, reload it, as he tried them both again, this time finishing third in German F4 with 7 wins and 5 poles, and winning the MRF Challenge Series, taking 10 out of the possible 16 wins. Top work, lad. And going into 2018, he continued this form, dominating the Euro Formula Open Championship, taking 14 wins out of 16 races, and coming second in the other 2.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So at this point, it's pretty clear that Felipe here is rapid. And you can assume that some talent scouts from the upper leagues may have been looking down at him going, right, well, keep an eye on that one. He seems rapid. However, as he took to the Formula 3 grid with Carling in 2019, that is where things began to change. As, in the words of his website, this year was marked by many difficulties in the setup and adjustments of the car, making it very difficult for Felipe to produce some good results, with him ending the year in 16th place with just 8 points. Although it should be noted that that was still more than both his other teammates combined. And one of those teammates was Logan Sargent, so luckily though, this was still enough to get the attention of Formula 2 team MP Motorsport, who signed him going into the 2020 season. Then, once the world finished ending, Felipe finally got to make his debut in mid-2020, where he would impress straight away, taking a win in the sprint race at the opening round at Austria, becoming the first driver to do so in their debut weekend in Formula 2 since Charles Leclerc. And as we all know, Charles Leclerc, top-tier driver. Felipe Drugovich, top-tier driver? Is that how it works? I mean, that might be how it works. Unfortunately for the Brazilian, though, the rest of the season was a much more up-and-down affair, as he struggled with inconsistency, which left him to finish in 9th place overall, picking up another 2 wins as the season went on. So, not quite a dominant breakout rookie season like we've seen for, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Oscar Piastri, but still decent. And so, going into 2021, this time of you and I virtuosi, hopes were high for him, but it wasn't meant to be. As aside from 4 podiums throughout the year, it was nothing to write home about. No wins, no pole, just an 8th place overall finishing position, while his teammate Guan Yu Zhou finished 3rd and moved on to F1 for 2022. Albeit Zhou did also pay, a lump sum to get there, but shh, that's not relevant, alright? Not in this video anyway. After this poor season, things really weren't looking great for Felipe, and with no junior team backing him, there was a real risk of him dropping out of the sport altogether. However, just like in the before mentioned 2008 season finale, if you never give up, you never know what's just around the corner. And is that MP Motorsport? Felipe was reunited with MP Motorsport in 2022, and off the bat, he was on it. With a 3rd and a 1st in Jeddah, and a clean sweep in Spain like I mentioned at the very start of this video, man was on a roll. Thanks to these good results and solid consistency, Drugovich now sits top of the Formula 2 championship table ahead of Teo Porcher in 2nd, who many were and still are sort of backing to be the champion this season. Now obviously it is still early days in the year, we have 18 races still to go this season, but I wouldn't say it's that far-fetched to say that given what we've seen so far, Drugovich really could challenge for the title this year. So that now brings us back to the question of this video in the first place. Why are F1 teams ignoring him? Why hasn't he been signed? Why haven't Mercedes, Ferrari, Williams, or even Red Bull just gone up to him and go, right, Felipe, hello lad, nice to meet you. You're rapid in a car car. Sign this, we'll have you in a car at some point. No one's done that. Why? Well, quite frankly, I think the real issue here is there's just too many drivers and not enough seats. We've seen it time and time again at this point with talented drivers like Nick de Vries, Oscar Piastri, and even Callum Ilott have to sit out on the sidelines or go race elsewhere after Formula 2, even if they have the backing of a Formula 1 team. Like, Callum Ilott was in the Ferrari Junior Academy. And boys and girls, I fear that Felipe Drugovich may be destined to join that list of drivers who are good enough for Formula 1 but just never got there. As all the junior academies are already full to the brim, with Sauber having Porsche, Alpine with Piastri, and Red Bull with half the bloody F2 grid. So unfortunately, unless something rapidly changes, Drugovich may just be destined to a life of what could have been, as there's just nowhere for him to go. But boys and girls, if you disagree with me and you think there is a place for him in Formula 1, make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. I'm open to any conversation, any suggestions. You may think he's not even good enough for F1. Let me know. I'm ready to talk about it, lads. Because realistically, I don't know everything. Well, I know most things. But yeah, boys and girls, that's been it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like if you have, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But until next time, I've been Aiden. This is MrAidenRule. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. Long live Felipe Drugovich.